Learn these 6 Stoic truths, and you'll never be ignored again. Introduction. Have you ever wondered why some people get ignored, even when they try their best, while others just say one sentence and suddenly the whole room listens? It's not luck, it's not confidence, and it's certainly not character. It's something deeper, something the Stoics discovered 2,000 years ago. There are 6 truths, 6 simple principles that silently determine whether people pay attention to you, respect you, or ignore you completely. And what's the surprise? Most people go their whole lives without knowing them. But once you understand why your presence feels light or heavy, why your words fade or linger, everything changes. Tonight, I'm going to show you these 6 Stoic truths. Truths so practical and powerful that once you hear them, you'll never speak to or be treated the same way again. Take a deep breath. Here we go. Part 1. Lie down for a moment and let your body find a truly comfortable position. Tonight, you don't need to be strong. You don't need to pretend you're okay. You don't need to force a smile for anyone. It's just you, your breath, and this quiet space. There are nights like this, when you lie in a dark room, the lights are off, but your mind is still painfully awake. You turn over, pull the blanket up, but sleep is still standing outside the door. Not because your body doesn't want to rest, but because your heart is still carrying the fragments of a long day. Maybe today you tried to open up to someone with a very simple sentence, "Hey, how are you?" But they just smiled lightly, nodded, and walked away. Maybe you tried to tell a small story, hoping someone would listen, but the whole group just stared at their phones, nodding absent-mindedly as if your presence wasn't enough to keep them there. Maybe you've been standing in the middle of a conversation and felt like you didn't count. No one did anything wrong to you, but you still feel that something is off, a small emptiness somewhere in your chest, a tiny scratch just deep enough to make you think about it when you come home. You lie down and ask yourself, why do my words feel so light? Why can other people say just a few words and the whole room goes silent, but I can't? Those questions quietly cling to you like a cloud, making the dark room feel larger and your heart feel more cramped. You sigh, a breath held back as if something inside you hasn't been released. And right now, as you're here in the dark, I want you to know that I see you. I see the small sadness you're hiding, the moments you feel invisible, the times you try to connect but the conversation dies too quickly. And I want you to know you are not alone in this. Many people, especially introverted souls, sensitive hearts, carry a pain just like yours, the pain of not being seen. You don't want to talk a lot. You don't want to be the center of attention. You just want, even just once, to be heard in the same way you quietly listen to others. And when that doesn't happen, you start to doubt yourself. You wonder if you're less interesting, if you're a bad speaker, if something is wrong with you. But no, this is not your fault. This is a shared wound among those who think deeply, feel strongly, and always observe the world with gentle yet penetrating eyes. You are not as lesser as you think. You are not lacking in attractiveness. You are not boring. You just haven't stood in the place where you truly belong, the place of stillness, not of effort. This is what the Stoics understood 2,000 years ago. They didn't care whether you spoke a lot or a little. What they cared about was this: do the words you speak carry weight? In their philosophy, power does not lie in the number of words. Power lies in the inner stillness, the thing that, once you have it, makes every sentence you say naturally deep, honest, and impossible to ignore. When your inner world is still chaotic, you try to talk more to prove yourself. When your inner world is at peace, you only speak when needed, and what you say becomes what people remember. The Stoics called that state inner stillness, a calm that doesn't show off, doesn't try to look powerful, but somehow makes everything around you slow down to listen when you speak. You are not wrong. You were simply taught a way of communicating that doesn't fit who you are. You think you have to talk a lot to hold people's attention, but in truth, you only need to speak what is true, and speak from a deeper place where you no longer have to chase approval. When you change the way you show up, you don't have to chase attention. Attention starts to find you. Tonight, I will gently guide you through 6 phrases, very simple but incredibly powerful. 6 phrases that can change the way people respond to you. 6 phrases that give your words weight and help you find again the quiet, deep, most respectable version of yourself. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to try. You only need to come back to yourself. Breathe in very softly and exhale very slowly. We'll continue when you're ready. Pause for a moment. Breathe in very softly and let everything settle. Part 2. Take one slow breath so you can step into the final part of this journey of understanding, the place where you begin to realize that what you once saw as weakness is actually a hidden source of strength within you. What you always feel, that conversations die too quickly, that your words aren't heard, does not reflect your worth as a person. It reflects only one thing. You haven't been communicating with the world from your true self. And that self is not loud, not hurried, not performing. It is deep, quiet, still, and full of reflection. That's why, when you use the communication style of an extrovert, faster, more, harder, you feel out of rhythm. You speak, but no one feels it. You try, but no one hears. Because you're speaking a language that isn't yours. The Stoics always reminded us, live in harmony with your nature. Zeno. Live according to your true nature. If you are a deep person, use that depth. If you are an observer, use that subtlety. If you are someone of few words, let that quietness become the substance of your charisma. You don't need to become someone who talks a lot to be seen. You only need to become someone who is present when they speak. Now let me walk you through another ordinary situation, one that everyone has seen but very few truly understand. Imagine you're in a team meeting. Everyone is throwing out ideas non-stop. You have your own thoughts, but you hesitate because you're afraid no one will pay attention. You wait for the perfect gap to speak, but that gap never comes. So you stay silent. You tell yourself, forget it, it's probably the same whether I say it or not. Meanwhile, someone else, not the most skilled, not the smartest, says something very simple. No fancy words, no special tone, but everyone nods. You've asked yourself before, why do their words carry weight and mine don't? I'm going to tell you why, very gently. Because they're speaking from a place that is deeper and less afraid than yours. They're not afraid of being wrong, not afraid of being judged, not afraid of being interrupted, not afraid of being looked down on. And when there is no fear, the voice becomes free. And when the voice is free, it naturally carries weight. Epictetus once wrote, "A free person is someone who is not afraid of what lies beyond their control." You cannot control whether people pay attention or not, but you can control your inner state when you speak, and that inner state determines the energy other people feel. An anxious state? Shaky words. A still state? Steady words. It's not the content, it's the way it's spoken. Now let me take you to another slice of life. Very simple, but extremely real. Imagine you're with someone you like. You want to make them laugh. You want them to find you interesting. You try and try more and push just a little harder. And the more you try, the less attractive you feel. Not because you're not good enough, but because you're speaking from a state that isn't really you, the state of self-doubt. Meanwhile, someone else just walks in, sits down, says something very soft, very genuine, and they become magnetic. It's not the looks. It's not a brilliant story. It's the stillness. People are drawn to stillness because stillness is rare. And stillness only appears when you accept yourself exactly as you are. There's something else you need to understand. You have been easily hurt not because you are weak, but because you feel deeply. And deep feeling is the foundation of powerful presence. Shallow people talk a lot. Deep people say little, but every word has a soul. When you say something from the heart, without trying to impress, without trying to please, others can feel it instantly. Because honesty has a strange property. It quietly touches the listener's mind without any need for noise. And now, I want to bring you to a Stoic perspective that most people overlook. The Stoics did not try to be interesting. They tried to be awake. And wakefulness creates charisma by itself. They did not speak in order to be respected. They behaved in ways that made them worthy of respect. They did not try to be heard. They simply spoke when they truly had something to say. And that selectiveness made others listen to them more. You don't need a long string of words. You only need one right sentence. And where does that right come from? From the stillness within. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "If it's not true, don't say it. If it's not necessary, don't say it." His words weren't meant to teach you to be silent, but to remind you that stillness always comes before wisdom. When your mind is still, you hear yourself more clearly. When you hear yourself more clearly, you speak less. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. So, if you've ever felt unheard, don't conclude that you're not attractive enough. Maybe you just haven't found the rhythm of your soul's voice yet. And the 6 phrases in the next part will help you find that rhythm again, step by step, gently, but powerful enough to change how you show up in every conversation. Before we move on to part 3, slow your breath a little. Place your hand on your chest and allow yourself to realize this. You have begun to see yourself. And when you see yourself, others will see you too. Part 3. Now, as you understand yourself more deeply, the quiet pain inside your conversations and the power of inner presence, it's time to move into some very gentle, very simple tools that are still strong enough to change the way you speak, the way you show up, and the way others respond to you. These tools are not for you to become someone else, but to return to your most natural state, a state that is still, clear, and no longer driven by fear. This is not a communication technique. This is a healing skill. And when you heal from within, your words naturally become heavier with meaning. There are times when you speak too fast, too much. Not because you have so much to say, but because fear is driving you. Fear of being interrupted, fear of being dismissed, fear of not being interesting enough, fear of being abandoned. In those moments, your heart beats faster, Your shoulders lift up and words spill out as if you're trying to fill a space you don't want to feel. That's when you need to return to the first tool, regrounding breath, the breath that brings you back to the present. Place your hand on your chest, right in the middle of your sternum, where you feel your heartbeat the clearest. Inhale very slowly, just one breath. Then hold it for a small beat. And exhale a little longer than the inhale. Repeat 3 times. In your mind, say very softly, I am here. Epictetus once said, your breath is the only thing that truly belongs to you, not other people's reactions, not the conversation, not the judgment of society. Only your breath is yours. And when you return to your breath, you reclaim yourself. Picture a very ordinary situation. Someone cuts you off while you're talking. Your heart races. Your hands get cold. You feel the urge to speak faster so you won't be overshadowed. But if, in that moment, you simply place your hand on your chest and take 3 breaths, you will feel a subtle stillness passing through your body. And from that stillness, you can say something very simple. Let me finish. Slow, clear, no trembling, no anger. Stillness creates weight. And presence begins with the very first breath. Tool 2. Self-soothing dialogue. There are times when you feel invisible, when you feel your words aren't good enough, smart enough, or deep enough. After you say something awkward, after someone misunderstands you, or after a conversation where you feel less valuable, your mind starts to attack you. I'm so bad at this. Why did I say that? They must think I'm stupid. That's when you need the second tool, self-soothing dialogue, a dialogue that nourishes yourself. Speak silently in your mind, slowly, clearly, and gently. I am enough. I don't need to be perfect to be heard. I am allowed to be myself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, look at yourself with gentleness, not with judgment, not with impossible standards, not through the eyes of others. Imagine that today you happened to say the wrong thing. A part of you wants to disappear. But if, in that very moment, you just place your hand on your belly, breathe softly and whisper, I am enough, you'll feel yourself soften. What you think is a flaw is actually just a moment, not your essence. Or after a conversation where you feel left out, you can quietly say, I don't need to be perfect to be heard. A single sentence like that can change your heartbeat. When you become gentle with yourself, the world slowly becomes gentle with you. Tool 3. When someone's words hurt you, not because what they said was truly harsh, but because you attached a meaning to it that they never intended. A message seen but not answered. Someone suddenly going quiet in a group chat. A casual remark that keeps you up all night. When that happens, you need the third tool, detachment check. Ask yourself a simple question. Is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. You think someone's silence means they hate you, but they're simply busy. You think their short replies mean you're boring, but they're just tired. You think a sentence is an insult, but it was only thoughtless. A very real example. You're talking and the other person suddenly goes quiet. Your mind instantly spins 100 stories. They're bored of me. Did I say something wrong? They must think I'm annoying. But if you pause and ask, can I control whether they respond or not? You'll feel the pressure drop. Light. Clear. Not everything is about you. Sometimes It has nothing to do with you at all. Tool 4. Night Releasing Ritual. When night comes, your mind often starts replaying every conversation of the day. Every sentence, every look, every tiny moment can make you toss and turn, unable to sleep. You replay the words you wish you hadn't said. You replay the moment someone forgot about you. You replay a smile whose meaning you couldn't read. That's when you need the fourth tool, Night Releasing Ritual, a ritual of letting go at night. Lie still. Inhale, hold for 1 beat, and exhale very slowly. Repeat 5 times. Each time, let the exhale grow a little longer, a little more, and a little more. In your mind, say very softly, hold and let go. I don't need to carry this anymore. Because night is the place where the mind returns to the truth, and the truth is, you don't need to carry someone's careless words. You don't need to carry a look you overinterpreted. You don't need to carry worries that will mean nothing tomorrow. A very real example, tonight you can't sleep because of something someone said at dinner. You're always so quiet. That sentence keeps looping in your head. But if you place your hand on your chest and breathe through 5 cycles, that sentence will sink like a leaf falling onto the surface of water. Light, no longer sharp. Night is for letting go, not for bracing yourself. Point number 3. Pause for a moment. Drop your shoulders and let your breath do the rest. Right now, you don't need to try anything more. Part 4. Let your eyes close, just lightly, no effort needed. Breathe a little slower, and let tonight hold you in the gentlest way possible. You've walked a long journey from the beginning of this video until now, and I want you to feel everything you've passed through, layer by layer, like a warm blanket slowly covering your mind. You've come to understand that you were never truly invisible. You were only covered by your own anxiety, by expectations that were never yours, and by all the times you tried to become the version other people wanted. But beneath all that strain, there has always been a presence in you that is very clear, very deep, very real. You've also understood that you don't have to perform in any conversation. You don't have to speak a lot to prove your worth. You don't need to try to be interesting. You don't need to compare yourself to louder voices. Your stillness is your natural magnetism. Your honesty is what makes people remember you. And you've learned 6 phrases, 6 keys that give your words weight. Not the heavy weight of pressure or dominance, but the weight of presence, the weight of someone who knows who they are, the weight of a heart that is calmed down. Now, you're not just understanding this with your mind, you're feeling it with your whole body. The breath is soft, the heart is slow, the shoulders are relaxed. The mind no longer needs to brace itself. You are becoming a quieter, deeper, and more peaceful version of yourself. Breathe in very softly and exhale very slowly. We're going to move into affirmations, sentences as soft as a pillow, as warm as a blanket, and as deep as the night. Affirmations, 12 to 16 sentences. Listen to each sentence as if it is dissolving into your body. You don't need to think, just feel. I am enough. I don't need to talk a lot to be seen. Every word I say carries weight. I show up through the stillness within me. I don't need to prove myself anymore. I am heard when I am truly present. My calm is my strength. I speak little, but I speak truth. I am not in competition with anyone. I have the right to rest. I have the right to be silent without feeling guilty. I have the right to show up in the truest way for me. I am the full version of myself. The right people will always hear me, understand me, and respect me. I gently release every fear that has ever tightened around my voice. I am becoming more peaceful with every breath. Breathe in, slowly. Hold for a small beat, and exhale very long, as if you're letting an entire day slide off your shoulders. Breath counting, 10 breaths. Now we'll move into the therapeutic breathing. Each breath is a step that carries your body deeper into sleep. Each number I count will carry a healing message just for you. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 1. Exhale for 6. Let's begin. 1. I am safe. 2. I am allowed to rest. 3. Nothing needs to hurry. 4. I am returning to myself. I release what does not belong to me. I exhale all remaining tension. I open space for peace to flow in. I am not bracing anymore. I deserve this stillness. I let my body drift into sleep. Very good. Your breath is slowing down, more even and warmer. Your body is getting lighter, as if you're lying in a calm boat drifting across very flat, very still, very deep water. 4.4. Night Surrender Script. Deep Sleep Induction. Now, let go of everything that's still in your mind. You don't have to brace yourself anymore. No one needs you to be strong right now. No one is waiting for you to prove anything. You've done enough for today. You have lived, you have tried, you have shown up, and you have learned to be gentle with yourself. Now, it is time to release. Let every expectation dissolve like thin smoke in the air. Let unfinished conversations sink to the bottom of the night. Let the sentences you keep replaying in your head drift further and further, like faint echoes in memory. You are becoming a calmer version of yourself. Your heart is softening. Your body is sinking into the deeper layer of sleep. And sleep is wrapping around you. Not in a rush, not with force, but very naturally. Let your head grow a little heavier on the pillow. Let your shoulders fully drop. Let your breath become as light as mist. And let your mind drift into a gentle, bright space where you don't have to do anything at all. Just exist and rest. You are not judged here. You are not compared here. You are not abandoned here. You are simply being held by the very stillness you've created. 4.5. Ambient sound and whisper ending. Now, let the soft sounds in the background carry you into sleep. The gentle wind, the slow breath, the night brushing softly against your eyelids. There is nothing left to think about, nothing left to hold on to. You are sinking, deeper, softer. I wish you a very light, very deep, very peaceful sleep. I am still here, like a small light, watching over your rest. Sleep now, and let the stillness continue to do the rest. The sound slowly fades, then dissolves into silence. So now you know the truth. Attention isn't something you chase, it's something you become. When you speak clearly instead of from fear, from presence instead of performance, people sense it. They don't just hear your words, they respond to who you are. These 6 Stoic truths aren't gimmicks, they're foundational. And as soon as you apply them, you'll see the world begin to change little by little. Conversations last longer, people listen more deeply, and your presence finally carries weight. But this is just the beginning, because there's another Stoic strategy, stronger, deeper, that can help you not only be heard, but respected in every apartment you walk into. If you're ready for the next step, stay tuned for the next video. It can change more than how you say it. It can change how you live.